Hello and welcome to Wildlife Cam. A lot of visits from Civet 1 this week, no sign of the other regular Civet 3. The glossy starling family are still intact for now. The fourth one is just behind the bird bath having a little splash. The baobab tree is starting to lose its leaves, so that's one of the big attractions for the impala here. They're picking up all the old leaves off the ground. These were the last elephants for the week. There's just a little group of males hanging out at the waterhole, but their peace and quiet was soon to be disrupted by a little family. Just a mother and her two babies, but that's enough to send the males on their way. We see her quite often with her two offspring. She doesn't like to hang around with other elephants. And the tambuati tree, which this camera is attached to, is also losing its leaves. And by the time they've dropped, most of the poison has gone out of the leaves, because they are quite poisonous and not many animals like to eat them, but the fallen leaves are very tasty apparently. After a year with no leopards, we get 2 visits in about a week. Probably the same one as the last time, but it's hard to tell because she wasn't really close enough to get a good, well, the last one wasn't close enough to get a good view of the spot pattern. And the leopards seem to have been popping up all over the place, because there was another male spotted a few kilometers away on the same night as this one, and then the next morning Ramses, who has also been absent for a while, killed an impala along with a female, but they were obviously more in the mood for love, because after a day they left the impala and headed off into the bush. Now the impalas had been nearby and I didn't hear any alarm calling, so it's possible that the leopard was hidden because they are quite sneaky, or maybe the impala had moved off. When I saw the little face on the edge of the camera, I just assumed it was a genet coming for a drink. And then I was hugely surprised to discover that it was a thick-tailed bush baby. It's the first one I've seen here. Now they prefer riverine forests and other tall treed areas like you find in the rest camps in Kruger, where they're quite common. So it would have had to come through probably half a kilometer or more of scrubby bush to get here. I'm sure it's not staying here. It's probably in transit to some more favorable habitat, but I'm not sure what made it go out of its way to come here. It's called a bush baby because of the horrible call it makes at night, which sounds like a crying baby. It would be terrifying if you didn't know what it was. It had been a fairly quiet week, and then we had 3 special sightings in one night. You can see a little movement in the background. So now we know that Civet 1 is a female, so presumably Civet 3 then is the dad. Now I don't know what induced her to bring these little ones out with her. I'm sure it wasn't by choice, because they look like quite a handful. So they may have got disturbed by something. I've never seen civets this small before, either in the flesh or on camera. They're probably only a few weeks old. They grow very quickly, so by the time they're about 5 months, they'll be ready to leave. No lions at the waterhole again, although the lions are being seen all over the place, and at least once a week they are down at the fourways. So apparently some lions had moved on to our property, although I didn't see them, but I think the impalas must have got wind of them. They weren't fleeing for their lives, so they weren't being chased, but I think they'd spotted them or smelt them, and they were just taking evasive action along with the zebra. The zebra must have lost its family after being frightened by the lions and was off to find them. The crested francolins are back in the garden after their summer holidays. The little warthog group are still intact, but no new members this summer. Then we haven't had any males around. And the big one standing in the water has quite a bad limp, but she had it the last time they were here. But I'm sure at some point her luck will run out because she can barely walk, and I'm sure she can't run. This little monkey saw me while it was having a drink. So they aren't tame. They're still very suspicious of people, so it wasn't quite sure what to do, and eventually it lost its nerve and dashed off. Thanks for watching.